There's a lot of medicinal plants in Jamaica. Jamaica is considered one of the most medicinal countries on the planet. The bitters came about, it was to remove the virus from your body. That's what it does. It's a detox. It's an herbal detox tea. My thing is eat your health. Eat your
Yeah.
health. Your herbs are great because the herbs add to help you address a specific issue. Your health, everything, mind, body, spirit. If that's not all together, I need to eat stuff as clean as possible, less processed. Yes, it's time consuming, but at least I know there isn't some weird additive.
Welcome to this episode of Next Best Act podcast, brought to you by the Liminal Tribe. The Liminal Tribe was created to encourage women over 40 and also support them in embracing those in-between moments that we all go through. It's something that many of us don't really recognize as our journey, and we always see the end result before we see what we're striving for in our journey along the way. I wanted to help women to move toward their passions in a unique way. My name is Dawn Mallory, and I'm your host of this podcast. And I'm here to talk about what we can do in the new year to improve our health. We are in a global liminal moment. It seems like we've hit a repeat button. Right now, we have a virus that's spiraling out of control in China. We're also faced with the 2025 administration coming in and making potentially a lot of changes to what we've been used to. I'm thinking about the elimination of subsidies, the reduction in Medicaid, and the public health administration itself loosening standards. It takes me back to the pandemic where things were very uncertain. And right now, it couldn't be more important for each and every one of us to take a preventative approach to our health. So today's overall topic is navigating health crisis with natural remedies. And I welcome my guest today. Her name is Marchelle Peterkin. She's a holistic educator and the founder of PowrrUp Herbal Remedies. Hi, Marchelle.
Hi, Dawn.
Thank you for coming and being a part of this. As I said, we're kind of in this repeat moment with viruses and with concerns about our health care. Tell us your story about how you embraced the pandemic to create PowrrUp.
So when the plague came out, then we say the plague came out, one of the first things I did was I called, I have Jamaican ancestry. So what I did was I called, we could say call back home. I called back home so that I could speak to some true Rastafarians to tell me what I needed to do. Because there's a lot of medicinal plants in Jamaica. Jamaica is considered one of the most medicinal countries on the planet. So for us, a huge percentage of folks there are taking their medications through herbs versus prescription medication. So they gave me a list of things I needed to do, which created bitters. And so obviously, because the international borders were shut down, I had to find substitutes, basically, because I couldn't get, obviously I wanted to get the exact same stuff they have in Jamaica, but I had to change out to see what I could order here. So the bitters came about mainly, it was to remove the virus from your body. That's what it does. It's a detox. It's an herbal detox tea, and I give you a big bag, and you boil it, and then you let it simmer for 4 hours, and you have to sit it overnight. I was following basically the method how they do it in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of roots in it. It's not the tea leaves where you could just put it in and let it sit for 3 to 5 minutes. We're
Right.
talking about roots. So the root has the highest concentration of the nutrients and the medicine. So it needs a longer processing. So the bitters came about, and the specifically because I knew it was a virus. You needed to get it out of you. And there are different detox. You can't just say, well,
Yeah.
I'll just drink green tea.
Jake. Yeah.
The purpose of the bitters was so that it could really clean out your all your organs, your liver, your spleen, your colon, all this stuff, right? And so it was. So once you get that out of you, and you will go to the bathroom, trust me, that's when you take your other herbs at the same time, like for your vitamin C and all this kind of stuff, so that once you're clean and you got the virus out of you, and you can tell once you take the bitters, you start to feel better because you've removed all that toxin out of your body, the bacteria and the virus and everything else. So now your organs and your tissues are open, and you can drink your turmeric, ginger, garlic, lemon stuff, so that you can immediately start going to your tissues and cells, and you heal and you
Mm-hmm.
get better. So the point was the bitters was to remove the sickness. You got to remove the sickness. You got to remove the poison, so you can bring in the good stuff so that it can start healing you. And that's how
So,
PowrrUp came around.
okay. So, just in talking just generally about your bitters, right?
Hmm.
What is it if we're talking preventative health, how can those be used to keep our, because right now I think all of us want to keep our immune system strong.
Okay. So, in all actuality, if you want to keep your immune system strong, you should be eating, you should be eating fruits and vegetables, whole fruits and vegetables. That's a plus. You should be eating your oranges, your apples, dragon fruit. You should be eating your fresh vegetables. You should be at least, I'm not telling you to start, the bitters is when you're sick, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the bitters is good for if you want to, you should be detoxing every 3 months anyway, because there's toxins. But you should be, and creating a orange and ginger, lemon, whatever concoctions you've seen them, like the turmeric and the ginger, people have those. I have my own little COVID thing that I make.
Mm-hmm.
And, you just take a shot glass of that twice a week, just so you can keep your immune system up. Okay. You should be doing that anyway in the winter time, in the cold season. All right. So you got to be eating your you got to be eating your vitamins, because that's the most highest and strongest concentration, versus trying to quickly pop a pill in the store.
Mm-hmm.
It might not have the same kind of potency because it's being extracted, it's set on the shelf for a long time. Not saying you shouldn't use it. And I would say, as an additional backup, and buy like oregano oil capsules. Those
Mm-hmm.
are great if you need to just take a couple of those a week or something like that. Or but I have my own little drink elixir. I call it the COVID elixir, because I know, right? Mainly because, especially if I'm going to be going out around people, I like to take a shot just to make sure that my immune system is on point. And that's what I use if I start feeling sick. Because I've been lazy about maintaining my immune system, and you
Mm-hmm.
get those symptoms, I drink like a glass of the bitters, so that, yes, I am going to go to the bathroom. It's going to pull out all the toxins and stuff like that. And then, I take my ginger and my garlic and lemon and all that kind of stuff. And I put like turmeric in it and a little bit of pepper, because pepper helps for whatever you're taking to better absorb into your body, just to keep your immune system going on. You should be having your soups at least once a week, making a nice vegetable soup or a chicken soup, something where you're going to have a lot of the nutrients in your food to feed your cells and bodies to keep your immune system high.
I discovered leeks have a lot of benefits too. And
Mm-hmm.
I made potato leek soup
Okay,
and
good.
didn't realize that. And something just told me to read about it. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize that, the stalk that you normally throw away, that
Mm-hmm.
actually has a lot of nutrients in it that you can boil and make a
Mm-hmm.
broth out of
Mm-hmm.
that. And I did that. So now I have the leek soup and I have the
Yeah.
broth that I sip on in the afternoon. And it has a lot and I put
Mm-hmm.
garlic in it. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it even tastes better than this chicken stock.
Yeah, you should be like, my thing is eat your health. Eat your
Yeah.
health. And herbs are great. They shouldn't replace. This is the mindset of why PowrrUp came. I mean, it's morphed even more, right?
Right.
Your foundation is your food, and it should be, whole fruits, fresh vegetables, whole grains, that kind of stuff, right? Your herbs are great because the herbs add to help you address a specific issue.
Hmm.
They're not to replace the food, because some people think, well, I could just keep
Eat the
eating what I want
herbs.
to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying anything negative about herbs, but nobody's going to sit down and say, oh, for breakfast, I'm going to have a plate of mint leaves. No one's going to do that. So, let's be logical. So you want to make sure you're cognizant, right? And especially when you wake up in the morning, right? The
Hmm.
first thing, especially if it's cold, I would make at the basis, like just cut a slice of lemon and put some turmeric in it,
Hmm.
the lemon and some hot water, warm water. You've got a shot of vitamin C there. You've got something to lower any kind of inflammation because of the turmeric. The lemon also helps to detox your kidney. So what you're trying to do is the first thing, and like I have sage. This is
Hmm.
sage in here. I've been drinking this.
You can
Yeah.
drink sage? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sage, let me give you a little bit of the secret about sage.
Okay.
Sage does two things. Sage is good for, so you have it, and I'm trying to teach people things where they don't have to go out and buy extra. You can use
Yeah,
what
you
you
have
have,
what's in
right?
your house. Yeah.
Yeah, so you buy sage for if you're throwing it in soups or whatever, but the sage is good because it does two things. If you're a woman suffering from hot flashes, it helps to reduce the sweating, and it's
Oh,
also good for memory. It also helps your memory.
what?
So yes, so the first thing I like to do before I just go and get coffee or whatever, I want to take in the stuff that's going to go straight to my cells and tissues, because
Yeah.
you've been asleep for like 8 hours. So your system is kind of just sitting there for the first thing to come into it, right? You don't want to put something that's non-beneficial. That's my point. You want to put the best thing in your body first, right? So that it really helps you. So if it's the lemon or whatever, if it's your COVID elixir, you want to take that first so it can go straight to your body, your cells, your tissues, to help heal in you.
Hmm.
And then you can come back later on and have your cup of tea or your coffee or whatever. But you want to try and become more conscious of what you're consuming. So you want to put the healthy stuff first thing in your body.
In the
And
morning.
obviously, yeah, because your organs are like a little bit more open, right? They're just sitting there. You're going to sleep all night. And it's good to have a glass of water when you wake up,
Hmm.
but put something nutritious or healthy to really jumpstart and not blocked by any other foods or anything that's bad
Right.
for you, clogged with other stuff.
Now, is sage considered a bitter?
No, it's not bitter to me. Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's not bitter to me. I mean, and I just drink it as is, because one of the things as women, as we get older, we go through a thing called perimenopause and menopause.
Hmm.
And that is where your insulin gets affected, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you have a hard time losing weight. So, insulin, it connects with inflammation. So, that's why you put the turmeric, because the turmeric helps to reduce the insulin,
Hmm.
okay, which helps to
Oh,
reduce the, yes.
that's awesome. It's
So
so
I do
relevant.
sage, or I do like lemon and turmeric, and that's the first thing, if anything, that I drink
Do.
before I have my ritual, because I used to drink a lot of teas, black teas. Well, I wouldn't call it black. It's more so black with milk in it because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the
Mm-hmm.
UK background,
I
right?
do that,
Or
yeah.
coffee. But it's like, you need to start like drinking the good stuff. You, even if it's green tea, make it be the
The
good
good
stuff.
stuff.
Yes,
So
you know what I'm saying?
if you have the black tea or you have coffee in the morning, does the caffeine counteract the the positive effects of the herbs that you might be taking? Like, because they're
I
herbs
would,
too, but like, there good herbs and bad herbs, or
I mean, we all know that coffee is not the, I'm not saying it's negative, but I wouldn't put it as a good herb. When everybody's talking about healing medicinal herb, coffee is not on
well,
the
what
list.
about
I've never
black
seen.
tea?
It depends on the black tea. It's like
Okay,
a black, yeah, because for me, when you say black tea, I'm thinking like English regular black tea, but it depends on the black tea that you're getting.
so
If
I
it's something
love Earl
medicinal,
Grey. I
that
love.
wouldn't, that's not medicinal. That's, I know what
Okay,
you're talking
that's
about.
caffeine. That's get up, wake up.
Yeah, yeah, that's tea, right?
It,
And I know it's leaves, but different leaves serve different purposes for medicinal point. So for health reason, one of the most globally accepted healthy tea is green tea, right?
yeah, I love green
Um,
tea.
but I'm saying you can drink your sage, you can drink your lemon, whatever, and then your next cup can be your black tea. Like I'm gonna have black
Okay.
tea later after this. So your next tea can be your coffee. But your first thing you want to drink is something healthy. Something, you know, you're trying to come back getting sick.
Mm-hmm,
So I would be drinking, like, even if it's ginger tea, right?
mm-hmm.
Just to give me the vitamin C first thing, because I want to make sure, if I'm gonna I want to make sure that the medicinal effects are going straight to my cells and tissues first of all. They're getting shot with that
Right.
before the coffee and all that kind of stuff.
So you're setting yourself up for success.
Well, I'm just trying to
You're
help
set. Well,
myself.
no, you are. You're setting yourself up for a healthy day, and
Yeah.
a a day that will lead you
Mm-hmm.
toward
Yeah.
a
And
successful,
don't get
healthy
me wrong.
life.
Yeah, we all slip, right? There are
Yeah. Oh,
times when it's
yeah.
just like, oh, I'm just gonna make a cup of tea when I get up, right?
Yeah.
But
Or I
if
need a
you are,
latte today.
yeah, you need. But if you are like concerned,
Hmm.
um, you know, you're gonna be around a bunch of people, you're going on a flight or something like that, I would do what I could to boost my immune system to give me that extra defense.
Right.
Like before I go on a flight, I was talking to a girlfriend and she came back like with the flu. One of the things I always do, like I've now done this for years, I've always carried oregano oil capsules,
Hmm.
right? And I take that, or I used to make make like ginger tea, or even and use fresh slices of ginger, let it boil for about I boil it and then let it simmer for about 45 minutes until it's like really orangey.
Hmm.
And I would drink that a few days before I get on the plane because I wanted to build my immunity. I always carry like oregano oil with me when I'm traveling,
Hmm.
because if I'm somewhere else, like, you know, you're on the plane and people are coughing, you can't exactly say, oh, let me make my ginger. You could take a couple of capsules on that on the plane or on the hotel or whatever, just to keep my immunity up, because you know, in the plane, because it's small,
Hmm.
it's like
The
you're in an
circulation.
incubator of sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me some stories that you've experienced with herbs being success for people.
um so I just want to clarify. Okay, so one of the things, you said my educational background. um
Well,
I
you're an educator. You're a holistic
Oh,
educator. That's what I
okay.
mean. Not like, okay, you're that's what you do. You help,
Yeah, okay.
you spread the
Yeah, so
word.
yeah, so the thing is, when I started PowrrUp, I really wasn't great at pushing it. So I want to kind of just say one of the things I've done, and it's not just herbs. I really, if you follow me on TikTok, because I got most of my stuff is on TikTok. I talk mostly about food. I tell people about food and the different foods and the addition and the nutritional content of that food. Like I just did one about dragon fruit,
Hmm.
and I was telling folks, I mean, it's great to say, oh, it's full of vitamin C and fiber, all that kind of stuff. And we know that, right? But my education is, I want you to know specifically how this is unique. And those little seeds in dragon fruit are actually healthy fats. Those
Mm-hmm.
seeds are healthy fats. People think, oh, it's chia seeds. No, it's not. And those seeds have omega 3s and omega 6. And that's critical. And that helps with memory and focus because
Mm-hmm.
the omega 3s and the omega 6 helps with like inflammation and energy. And so, I educate folks. And then for the dragon fruit, because you get like 3 or 4 kinds. You get the white, it has like the white flesh,
Mm-hmm.
the yellow flesh, and the pink and the red. Well, the pink and the red, because of the coloring,
Mm-hmm.
has, because they all have antioxidants, but once they are any kind of fruit or vegetable that is red or purple or black in color has a thing called antioxidants, so they're much stronger. They're antioxidants. I mean, they all have antioxidants, but because of the coloring, it's like antioxidants on steroids. So
So the more
now
color, the more
the more
antioxidant.
stronger that no the yeah the more stronger the antioxidants. So if you are going through, say, and I'm educated, like red cabbage is like that, and beets, and the skin on eggplant, and purple
Oh, wow.
carrots.
Okay.
Yeah, it's even black rice. Okay, the coloring gives you extra, it's like horsepower, right? So if you're diagnosed with a chronic disease, or you're trying to, you know you want that extra boost for your heart, your eyesight, your ears, eat the colors.
Eat the
Pick up the red
colors.
cabbage. Yeah, pick
Okay.
up the red cabbage. Pick up the dragon fruit that's red or pink on the inside. Choose the purple carrots, blue or black corn. It's corn that I know that they sell in Mexico. It's a different
The
color.
different colors.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Eat the colors. Because of the coloring, it makes the nutrient even more stronger.
More dense.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yes. So people just like, oh, I'm just gonna get some cabbage. You can get some purple cabbage instead. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. So the good thing is, since I've posted that stuff, I get a lot of positive responses.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had anything negative. People ask me questions on there. I let them know. It's very educational. Because I'm trying to do the whole holistic, right?
Yeah.
And so I do have a book coming out, and it's about memory and focus. And so it's more than just food and herbs, because I'm not too heavy about the herbs. I'm more so
I
the
think I need an
herbs.
early copy of that.
um, the herbs, because there's so many people talking about herbs, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. So when I talk about herbs, I'm talking about I specific for the products that I have, which
Mm-hmm.
is the bitters and the PowrrUp for men. And then like in my books, and I'm going to have a series of books, I'm just highlighting the most popular herbs. I don't
So
need to give you an encyclopedia. So because I'm not that my philosophy is more so everything else: acupressure, tai chi, yoga, exercise, nature, food, all that kind of stuff.
so you said one thing that I picked up on.
Hmm.
You said power up for men.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I have a product that's PowrrUp for Men, and it's really to help with male stamina. That you'll have to go to the website, because if I try to sell it on
Yeah,
any
yeah,
of the
yeah.
social media sites, they're going to shut it down.
Right.
That's the thing about natural health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or herbs or food. It doesn't just treat the one thing, it's a whole bunch of stuff. So it has like your hemby in it. Yes, that treats erectile dysfunction, but it also helps to promote weight loss. That's what yohimba does, as well
Mm-hmm.
as improving mental health. It has ashwagandha in it,
Mm-hmm.
and that improves like male fertility and increases testosterone. But ashwagandha also helps with
Women.
like lowers your cortisol, it
Mm-hmm.
reduces blood sugar levels, it improves bone health. It has turmeric in it,
Mm-hmm.
and turmeric is good for, like, like I said, reducing insulin. It increases antioxidants, which helps to, fight free radicals and repairs damaged cells. But turmeric also helps to reduce the spread of the C word, and it lowers cholesterol,
Right.
and it also treats Alzheimer's, right?
Right.
It has fenugreek. So for men, it helps to maintain healthy testosterone
Is that
levels.
fenugreek or fenugreek?
Fenugreek, Fenugreek,
Okay.
fenugreek. As you're aging, you don't want to just take the one thing that helps for erectile dysfunction. And I'm not trying to knock down what's out there,
Right.
but some of these things can have side effects.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm trying to tell you is the herbs don't just treat one thing. It's treating holistically a bunch of stuff, because the fenugreek also controls diabetes.
Okay.
All right. So it has all these things in here that, yes, it helps with the male testosterone, but it's holistically doing all these other things.
So it's treating the
Mm-hmm.
problem and not the
And it's
symptom.
and yeah, and it's helping your health in other ways, in other
Yeah.
things too.
Yeah.
So I know folks are like, yeah, well, I take herbs and I don't feel anything. The reality is, number one, you probably need to, you probably
Change
got a
up.
lot of cramp in your body. You
Mm,
need a detox. You have to change your diet, because herbs work well with what you're eating. Okay.
yeah.
You got to get that gunk in you. And yes, it does take time. But one thing about herbs is the fact that it's not the symptoms. It's actually helping to regenerate
Your
your
body.
cells. Yes, it's
Yeah. But if
healing.
you're
So it
taking
can,
an herbs detox and you're eating burgers every day, that's
yes, thank
probably
you.
not a good thing.
Thank you. Thank you. I saw this in a website, I think it's organic.com or something, like organichealth.com. And they said food is medicine, sun is medicine,
Mm,
exercise is medicine, laughter is
medicine.
medicine,
Mm,
love is medicine, nature, I think they said, is medicine. Basically, there's everything is medicine, right?
yeah.
And
Everything
so
natural.
if you try to, I'm all of the 80-20 rule. So there's no perfect way, right?
Right.
So I'm like, and sleep is medicine. That's important. Sleep is medicine, right? So all of these things are medicine, right? You can't be just eating and you're not sleeping. You
Yeah.
can't just be eating and you're not going out in nature. You can't just be, I'm just going to eat healthy, you're not exercising. You have to look at everything holistically, right? You can't be like, I'm healthy, but you are unhappy. You got to think about your mental state, okay? You got to, and you got to constantly input this into your life. Granted, it's not going to be 100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you like sweets. I like to drink wine. I'm not going to lie, right? I like
Mm-hmm.
a couple of glasses of wine, right? But what I try to do is to be conscious. I try to do like the 80-20 rule, where 80% I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to do my chanting, my meditation, do my stretching, drinking my infused water. If I need to do like acupressure, like certain points for, like, if I need to focus, I like, and my mind is wandering, I press certain points on my and stimulate them
Mm-hmm.
so I can focus, because it's more than just drinking this. I gotta do and eat other things. And so the whole thing is, if we try to input all these different modalities in order to heal you, it puts you in a better frame
Frame
in
of mind.
dealing with
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yes.
Because if you have disease, if you're going through something emotional, it doesn't matter what you're eating, it could still make you sick, you know?
Yes.
And so if you are, that's why they call it disease, because it's
Mm-hmm.
the dis and the ease, and so you have an imbalance, okay? Your heart, if it's broken, can cause you sickness. Obviously, you can't control what's around you, but you can
Yes.
try to control how you're dealing with it.
With it. Yeah.
So if it means if you are going through something stressful and you can't do anything about it, you can't remove it, you can at least spend some time, and whether you meditate or you pray or you play music, soothing music to help you, right? Sometimes I play specific music like
Mm-hmm.
binaural beats or solfeggio frequencies, solfeggio frequencies,
Mm-hmm.
if I am if I have that dis-ease of the mind and my chanting isn't enough and I need to, and that helps me, right? That helps because I can eat all the healthy stuff I want, but it doesn't take how I'm feeling emotionally,
Right,
right?
right.
And then I'm like touching certain meridian points on my body, or I might do some tap in, EFT tap in to help me get through the situation. And you can look it up. It's called energy frequency tapping,
Okay.
and you do that, and that helps you. And it's using certain meridian points. You're tapping certain meridian points, which is associated when those points are when you do acupuncture, and that helps you too. And so there was a time where I had to drive into a job every day, and
Mm-hmm.
I hated it. I hated. So as I was driving into work, I would play the music in the car, and it really helped me, right? Even if I had to say certain affirmations, and it made a difference. Visualization,
Yeah.
I mean, and it really helped lift me up. And I was at work and I didn't get so like, oh God, it really helped me, make it through the day, make it whatever. And so I wasn't like, bringing my problems and talking about them when I got home. I was able to let it
Let it
go
go.
because I was able to raise my vibration. Conventional medicine only came about in the last few, like 100
Yeah.
years or less,
Yeah.
right? This has been going on from the beginning of man.
Of time.
And
Yeah.
and then here's the funny thing. Since we've had this more conventional medicine and people call it cuckoo and everything else, we seem to have a lot more ailments,
A
issues, and
lot
mental
of
issues,
issues. Yes.
suicide, all this kind of stuff, right? You're in a first world country, supposed to have access to the best medicines, therapists, and whatever, and there are more depressed, suicidal, sick people than folks who you think are in the jungle or
Mm-hmm.
in the rainforest.
So this is a good point to
The
kind
math
of
ain't mathing.
transition. Yeah, this is a great point to transition into what your why is. Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? That's a good question. It makes me feel good. I like the outcome. I see how it makes me feel internally. Um, I'm not compared to folks I'm around and they're going through anxiety or panic attacks or health issues. I like how I feel. I like that I don't have any ailments. I
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what I'm saying? I got to do more yoga. I'm not good about that, I try to get some bending in and stuff like that. I like that I'm not walking around chronically depressed, or becoming mentally unbalanced when they
Mm-hmm.
weren't even born like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of making me wonder, what are you ingesting? What are you
That
taking?
is something. When I used to hear irritable bowel syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was something completely different than what it is. I mean, it's your gut bacteria or your gut
Mm-hmm.
affecting your mood. And I mean,
Exactly.
there are certain days, I mean, that I knew I must suffer from that because
Yeah.
there was
And
no
there,
other explanation,
yeah. So
So
there's
it's
a
all the way back to
correlation.
food,
Yeah. Yeah. It's food, or it could be, medication you're taking that can affect you in that way. And so you ask me the why, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I need to eat stuff as clean as possible, less processed. Yes, it's time consuming, but at least I know there isn't some weird additive,
Right.
or they code the name, you read in the back of the label and they call it something else so that you don't know
It's
that it's a
confusing.
chemical or whatever, and you don't know what side effects this is having in your body, right?
Right.
And so drinking green smoothies is no fun. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie about it. Especially, and if you really wanna, it shouldn't even have any should barely have any fruit in it, right?
Right.
Because that defeats the purpose. Girl, I make green smoothie. Sometimes it tastes like I'm drinking
Nasty.
grass, okay? But but I take it because I know what it's doing for me internally, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot better than me buying a supplement. So
Mm-hmm.
good example, parsley. Parsley is great at deodorizing you. You don't
Right.
have to buy chlorophyll, right? It's the number one. It's the number one plant that has the highest amount of chlorophyll in it. Okay, it's easy to grow. It really is. It's a very easy. You can put plots around and get it. But the whole thing is, when you are deodorizing your body, and cilantro is great at attaching to um, heavy metals in your body. So if you were to combine that with the stuff you're taking, you want to remove those toxins and those metals out of your body. Okay, um, if you start eating that, including in your diet or in your smoothie, like I made a parsley salad,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't, I take the stems off, but I save the stems. So I make the salad. It's like a tabbouleh salad. It's
Okay.
great, but the stems I save because I use that as my basis in my smoothie. And same thing
That's a
with
good
cilantro.
idea.
And so
So you're repurposing,
thank you, thank you, thank you.
not
And then
wasting.
thank you, thank you. And then I have a juicer also, right? And so I save the pulp from the juicer and I put it in the oven real low, crack it a little bit. I put it in the oven, you crack the oven a little bit because you have more space to dry to dehydrate it than in an air fryer, right? Air fryer,
Okay.
whatever. And I'm also kind of leery about the whole air fryer thing too anyway. So I put it in the oven, put it on the lowest number you can, crack it open, like put and have a fan, have it going for like about 6 hours, 8 hours. Now you have your own dried
Herb.
medicinal herb.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
now, yes, and then I kind of, yeah, and then I put it in the in my bullet to make it into a powder. So now I can add that
Oh,
into my smoothie, or B, I can add it into like my cooking extra flavor because
yeah.
I've just juiced some apples or carrots and ginger, and so I might add that in as extra flavor in my cooking or my soup or whatever, or in my smoothie. So you repurpose it in that way, and at least I know there's no fillers in this, right?
Some,
Because I'm always kind of leery that you're getting this stuff, and I'm like wondering how much of this does it got sawdust in it. I don't know.
so
And
you need to
so
come out with some tips on, because you recommended a masticating juicer to me, and I use it almost every day.
hmm.
So, but the leftovers from the,
Yes. Yes.
I'm always trying to figure out how to, like, because I love
Hmm.
my beet juice. Like,
Yeah.
what do I create with those
Yeah, so
excess
you
beet
can you
bits?
spread it out, you can, I don't know if you're making like muffins, you may want to throw some in some muffins that you're making,
Hmm.
or kind of like banana bread or something like that. But what I do is I dry it out in the oven, and then I have my own mason jar. It's
Yeah.
all dried out, and now I can add that in my smoothie, or add that when I'm,
Oh, that's such
if
a
I'm
good
making soup.
idea.
If you're making soup and you
What?
just add some in the soup, yes,
Because I
use
mean,
it
I've
that.
been wasting it, but I was like, it got to be something I could do with this,
And
Like
now and
now
yeah, you
I
add
know.
it to your soup. So now you got all those extra vitamins and everything else, and more flavor to your soup.
I love this.
And it thickens gravy and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my god, I can't wait for the cookbook.
Don't know if I'm doing. Thank you. Yeah.
The next thing, I mean, the purpose of this podcast is to, support women and empower them and encourage them to move into whatever it is they're passionate about, whatever they want to do next, whatever they
Mhm.
it may be.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you can think of that can help them? Like just in your process, if you're thinking about your process of how you decided to do PowrrUp, how you're moving in the world right now with all the changes that are happening.
I
Yeah.
would say the first thing is sit down and calm the mind. You
Yes.
cannot move forward in chaos. Okay? You cannot move forward in fear. You cannot move forward in ambivalence. You cannot see water clear if it's bubbling.
Yeah.
That's like an old
Yes.
proverb saying.
Yes.
So you got to still the mind. And once you still the mind, then you can figure out what you want to do, okay, and move forward. That is why I get into the whole chanting,
Mm-hmm.
meditation. At the time when I wasn't really pushing PowrrUp,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I was working and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I see there's more of a need for it. And what's so funny is like, just today, because, I haven't really been pushing the bitters, right? I just, give it to friends and stuff like that. I really haven't. But in light of what I know, what's going on with another variant coming out, and that's very scary.
It's very scary.
Um, this morning, I usually get a lot of my insights early in the morning. And it was around about 6, 7 this morning, something said, you need to push out the bitters. You need to start selling it. You
Yes.
need to get it. People are going to need it,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can. It's not going to taste good. You know it
I
don't
know.
taste
It don't
good,
taste
right?
good.
But it's not about taste. It's about health.
Yeah.
All right. Um, and so I would say, whatever you're trying to do, make your decision based on a calm mind. Like I said, you cannot look at water if it's bubbling. You can only look through it and see if it's clear or dirty when it's calm, okay?
Yes.
You cannot make a decision if you got so much stuff going on and you're fearful or you're angry or you're anxious, because 9 times out of 10 your decision is not going to be successful. It's not coming from a sense of self. It's
Yes.
coming from a sense of desperation. Success can mean different things for different people. For me, it's security, stability, and state of and health. Health is important in a calm state of mind.
Yes.
We have seen people
Peace.
who, on the outside, they look successful,
Mm-hmm.
but there is so much ugliness when you
Mm.
pull out. Okay, we've seen that. We know folks. It looks great on the inside, it looks great
On
on
the
the
outside.
outside,
Yeah.
but inside it is toxic. It is unbalanced. It is screams and fights and it's negativity. And it's folks are like one step away. They can't sleep at night because they think the cops are going to come knock on their doors because they're doing unethical, illegal stuff in order to maintain that. Your health is
Wow. Okay.
deteriorating. You're scam. So what is the point of that?
Yeah. There's no point.
Yeah, what was the point of that, right? Because I always kind of look at, for me, I always think about the classic. I don't want to say classic, but when I think of like folks back in Jamaica who are like, they're just living in nature, like,
Oh,
and some of
yeah.
them are in nature, they're living off the land, they go
Yeah.
down to the beach, they get their fresh catch, you know and they're eating healthy. I'm not saying everyone, but I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about the person who's living that simple life. They're happy, they have a great personality, stuff like that, and it's like, that's what I want
Want
to
me
be,
too.
right? I don't want this. You have to think about what's important to you. And for me, like I said, because you can have everything and your health is horrible. You
Your
cannot
health,
enjoy,
your
and
mental
your health
health,
is
your
yes,
relationships.
your health, everything, mind, body, spirit. If
Mm-hmm.
that's not all together, no matter what you're doing, if you're in a state of panic all the time, distress, fear, anger, hate, that is not the choice that I want to make.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's so true.
You see all these folks, and it's an illusion, and yet it looks great on the outside, but once you get access to a little bit of the information, or you see what's going on, it was all smoke and mirrors, and it's
Yeah.
misery, and there's cantankerous, and it's ugly. And I'm not saying don't don't look for financial wealth. I think that's great too, but
Mm-hmm.
be balanced, mind, body, spirit. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be super rich and wondering if the cops are going to come and raid me. Or somebody's, got wishing me dead, and, I got to look everywhere I'm going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, it's not really worth it.
Yeah. Tell us again how people can find you.
Okay, I am on Instagram. If my handle name is PowrrUp, POWRRUP. There's no E in it.
Mm-hmm.
POW, two R's, UP, Power Up. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on YouTube. And and I have a website, www.powrup.com. Social media sites are where I'm posting, every week or 2, 3 times a week with, education on a different fruit or vegetable and things like that.
Thank you for allowing me to share your story. I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Thank
My
you.
heart says that I want to support and encourage women
Hmm.
in this stage of life. And this is what 2025 is about for me. So
Thank you.